2023. Are we now recording? Okay, perfect. Well, then I can start. And on that note, let me remind everybody that we are now recording this meeting and it's being live streamed on YouTube for the public participation. And today's board meeting is hybrid meeting with some members and participated locally in the commission offices here in Edmonton on 106th Street in Jasper, and others participating from their respective homes and places of work for the duration of the recording. And I'd like to welcome Councillor Houston, Councillor Laurie, Councillor Grunberg, and Councillor Munkhoff Swain, who are joining us virtually. Welcome to all guests. Thank you who have joined us today, and to the members of the public watching our live stream or later the recording of this meeting. As we start off every meeting, I'm going to start off today with our land acknowledgement. So on behalf of the board, we would like to acknowledge the traditional land on which we are gathered is Treaty 6 land. We would like to thank the diverse Indigenous peoples whose footsteps have marked this territory for centuries, such as the Cree, Dene, Saulteaux, Dakota Sioux, and Blackfoot peoples. We also acknowledge this as the Métis homeland and the home of the largest concentration of Inuit south of the 60th parallel. This is a welcoming place, our region, for all peoples who come from around the world to share the Edmonton metropolitan region as a home. And so welcome today. And so in chambers here, we have, of course, EMTSC administrative staff and so we have our agenda before us. So take a look at it. Certainly any comments or questions about it before I ask for a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Councillor Finstad, can I ask you to do that?
I move the January 5th, 2023 agenda be adopted as presented.
Thank you very much. And I'll raise the hand function for those online, if you don't mind. Call a question. All in favor? And that's approved unanimously. Thank you very much. So we're on then. We have a consent agenda, which includes the approval of the December 15th, 2022 regular board minutes. And Councillor Harris, can I get you to make this motion?
I would be glad to move that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Any questions? Seeing none, I'll call a question. All in favor, please raise your hand. And that's carried unanimously. And welcome, Councillor Knack. Thank you. Appreciate you attending virtually as well. Moving right along now to item 4 on the agenda is the receipt of the City of Edmonton motion to withdraw. I'll turn it over to you, CEO Jankowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as we discussed at the last board meeting, at the time of the last board meeting in December, the City of Edmonton had passed their budget, and their budget did not include the money, the funding required for Edmonton's participation in moving forward through to operations in 2023. And subsequent to that day, that board meeting, the City of Edmonton Council also passed a resolution to withdraw, or to provide notice of withdrawal from the commission. And it is, we received it the following week, so the last week in December. It is on your agenda for receipt and any reaction, and certainly it will also form the basis of some of the discussion which will require legal advice.
Fair enough. Thank you for that. I'll just throw open the floor to any questions. I'm assuming we have all received, well, certainly we've received it because it's attached to our agenda package. I also received a written copy of that. Did everybody receive a written copy? Online, did you receive paper copies as well? Okay, fair enough. All right, so and I do note that our bylaws required that our 8 municipalities get notified as well, and I believe that was also on the CC list. So any questions before we go ahead, Councillor Finstad?
Not so much a question, more of a comment. Appreciate the struggles that Edmonton went through to reach this conclusion. Very disappointing for the rest of us. But I just want to say, from my perspective, better now early in the game than 2 or 3 or 4 years down the road when expenses could have been a lot worse and things could have been a lot worse. So that would be my comment.
Fair enough. Thank you, Councillor Finstad. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, I would like to add my thanks to you, Councillor Knack. You did yeoman's work to try to get this through, but the nature of the political environment that we all live within, and we've all been on the sides of votes that are supportive of our motions and that are not in support of our motions, and we all live with the consequence of those votes. But I did want to acknowledge you for your efforts and your wholehearted support of the commission going forward, Councillor Knack. So thank you very much. All right. Seeing no other comments, we'll move into the in-camera portion of the meeting, and quite honestly, the in-camera portion of our meeting deals with legal advice to us as a board member, and so that's why we're moving in camera, just so that anybody watching us will know. And I'll acknowledge this at the end of the meeting as well. So can I get a motion or someone to move the motion to move in camera? Thank you, Councillor Harris.
Mr. Chair, I would move that the board move in camera in accordance with the provisions of Division 2, exceptions of disclosure of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, RSA 2000, Chapter F-25, as per sections 16 through 28.
Thank you very much. Call the question. All in favor, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's carried unanimously. We'll give you a couple minutes to move in camera and shut down the YouTube. Number 5. Welcome back, everyone. We have a motion before us to reconvene in public, and all right.
Well, it's to move out of in camera
Yeah.
into regular session.
All right.
So we did that.
We did that.
I recall we did
We are in public session now. All right. So we have a motion here now that the board accept as information the materials and discussion presented in camera. Who would like to make that motion? Go ahead, Councillor Finstad.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the board accept as information the materials and discussion as presented in camera.
Call the question. All in favor, please raise your hands. And Sam, if you can give a I do or something.
Yeah, my hand is raised. If you should be able to see that.
Yeah, no, I can't. Sorry. Okay, now I can. All right, so you're now visible here. Thanks. That passes unanimously. Okay. So now we have the following motion to consider. And Councillor Houston, you have a hand up? Did you care to make this motion?
No, I just had it was a phantom hand.
A phantom hand. Okay, that sounds good. All right, so we'll split the motions and we'll debate each one individually. So why don't we have one of you, and do you want to do this, Glenn? All right, go ahead, Councillor Finstad.
I move the board in response to Edmonton's notice to withdraw from the commission, which has effectively rendered the commission unable to deliver on the original stated mandate. Now direct the CEO to immediately commence the process of winding down the activities of the commission to minimize any further costs while addressing outstanding contractual liabilities and respecting statutory and common law provisions.
Okay, fair enough. I accept that motion. Any opening comments on debate?
None.
Okay, any other member wishing to enter debate on this element of the motion? Seeing none on item number 1 alone, I'll call the question. All in favor, please raise your hands. Yeah, I see 7 of 8.
I'm trying to raise my hand virtually, but
There
I'm in
you
favor.
go. We got it now, Sam. Thanks. All right, that's passed unanimously. Number 2, Glenn?
I move the CEO present a plan for the wind down and eventual dissolution of the commission during the January 19th, 2023 board meeting.
Okay. I'll accept that motion. Any debate on this one? Any other member of the board wishing to enter debate on this one? Okay, seeing none, I'll call a question. All in favor, please raise your hand. Hey, Sam, maybe we'll just ask you to say yay or nay. There you go, passed unanimously. Councillor Fanstad, on to number 3.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The board requests the CEO provide notice to members pursuant to sections 98 of the governance bylaw that the board will be considering amending the governance bylaw to delete sections 94 to 96 at the February 16th, 2023 board meeting and pause the request for proposal process for the governance review subject to consideration of amendments to the governance bylaw of the February 16th, 2023 board meeting and notify the participating proponents of the pause.
Thank you. Accept that motion. Any debate? No. Anybody else care to enter into this? I would just add before we vote that this motion's required because our current governance bylaw requires us to complete a governance review commencing in by January of 2023. Given the current state of affairs with the Edmonton Metropolitan Transit Services Commission, we feel as a board that this body of work is no longer required in its current form. But in order to remove our requirement to complete that work, we have to pass this motion to change our governance bylaw, and hence the reason for this motion before us today. So without any further ado, let me call the question. All in favor, please raise your hands. And that is passed unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, so let's get back to the original. First off, thank you everybody today. It was the legal opinions that we reviewed over the last 3 hours were extensive and generated a fair amount of debate, and the content of that will be made public on the 19th in terms of the plan for going forward in terms of the next steps to be undertaken by this commission. So I want to thank the board's endurance. The meeting was intended for 2 hours. We're now 3.5. So thank you very much for your patience and for the staff and CEO Jankowski and Kathleen from Shores Jardine. Certainly appreciate your wisdom today. With that, I move that this meeting is now adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Go Canada, go.
So long, everyone. Thanks again, Mr. Chair.